one time. And so the North said, but you got to stop enslaving people. They said, why are we going to do that? They said, because we got to work together. And the South said, well, who need to work with you? I'm going to break away. The North said, you can't do that. The South said, why not? Because then that would break up the Union. Abraham Lincoln said it. He said, if I could keep Africans enslaved and preserve the Union, I would. That's evidence. He said it. And so the South said, but we're going to keep enslaving people. But you see, what happened is that they had to stop the enslavement of the transatlantic enslavement. Now, I know they tell you that they felt sorry, that they wanted to repair the damage. That's not why they did it. They did it because they gave so many guns to African people in Africa who were on their side, unfortunately. But we got some people on their side right now, so we shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, keep the subs coming, y'all. And keep sharing it.
We have to face the truth now.
We should be good to go now.
And what began to happen is that Africans began to fight the Europeans, and they could not enslave the way they used to. So they had to stop the enslavement process because they were losing money. And so what they decided to do was to now, they would breed the Africans in the United States, and that's how they were able to build up their enslavement, the Africans that were here, by breeding them and creating breeding farms. There's evidence and there are books on this. And then the South said, but
bullshit.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to free our Africans. The North said you have to. So in the year 18, check this out, family. In the year 18.
Okay, this is being streamed live on Daryl Holy's YouTube channel, but I went back all the way back to like the beginning so y'all can see like the many different agents that are out here at the reparations rally right now. Now he's trying to explain why we're all, high, have a copper tone to us, we're not all like, blue black like the Africans over there. He's trying to explain that, a lot of us were mixed, and they had breeding farms where, I don't know. No. Okay. See, these delusional RBG motherfuckers believe that every black person in America is mixed some kind of way. Like, dude, every white man do not have a fetish for black women. And back then, that wasn't going on, okay? Black women wasn't getting raped left and right every time they was walking out, their homes like that by white men, at least. No, I don't believe that. And we all was not enslaved, okay? We all did not get captured and brought here from Africa. The transatlantic slave trade story has been debunked many times by many different historians. The biggest name right now is Dan Calloway, but I mean their story on how we got here pretty much bullshit. Like, it was impossible for ships in the 1600s to cross back and forth from Africa to America, just going straight across. Those ships had to use the ocean current to get around, and it would have took maybe 2 to 4 months to get there. Okay, and those ships did not have toilets, plumbing. I mean, they did. Come on, think about it. Like, can you imagine like how much food it would take to feed a ship with like a cargo of 500 slaves? I mean, like, you gotta y'all not even thinking about how much food they would have to store, and then how much porridge they would have to make on a daily. Okay. Clean water. Come on, you're on a ship on an ocean. You can't drink ocean water. The ocean is salt water. People don't even attribute that. See, they teach you these stories in grade school while you were a kid, because you'll believe that crap. You won't ask questions as a kid. oh yeah, it makes sense that we're from Africa because there's so many dark-skinned people over there. No, that's just, see, this is why they teach us this bullshit while we're kids, okay? When we're kids, because you don't question shit. The truth is, indigenous people were all over the world, brown-skinned people, dark-skinned, dark brown people with afros. We were all over the world at one point in time, okay? We were everywhere, okay? And life did not start in Africa. The out of Africa theory has been debunked many different times by many different archaeologists and historians have debunked out of Africa. We found older bones than Lucy outside of Africa. There were bones found in South America that strongly suggest that life started over here on this side of the world, or the human migration started on this side of the world. Then they found older bones than Lucy in Europe, which proves that Europeans did not come from Africa. Okay, Africans come from Africa. Okay, they are indigenous to their land. Okay, those people who have relatives and have history there, 100-year history, know that they are from there. Yes, they are. Okay, they are Africans. Us Americans, American Negroes, we are indigenous to America. We've been here. We've been here for thousands of years. If you are a black American and you know you have African ancestries and you can call up your African cousin or your great African aunt, then yes, you are African. But I don't have that. I don't have an African auntie that I can call. I'm not African. No, none of my ancestors passed that verbal history down. I was told by my grandfather and my grandmother that I am indigenous to America. My grandma was a Cherokee. My grandfather has Blackfoot in his ancestry. And I live in northern Alabama where the Cherokees were. So it lines up, okay? Now, everybody, I know a lot of black people that claim this shit, that they're Cherokee. I know everybody isn't Cherokee, okay? So y'all gotta choose. There were 200 other tribes, okay, outside of the 5 civilized tribes, okay? Their names are still out here. You can choose a tribe, like, seriously, but don't choose the 5 civilized ones because everybody wasn't a part of that, okay? There were over 200 plus different tribes in America. In the South. In the South alone, there were over 85, you can choose from, okay? But, yeah, they want us to believe that just all the darkies come from Africa, and that's not the truth, okay? We all did not just come from Africa, and life didn't just start out in Africa, okay? At one point in time, all humans had this brown tint on their skin, okay? This was 300 years ago. Less than 300 years ago, everybody had this brown tint, okay, on their skin. And that's just how humans were made, okay? And something happened, okay? So we're going to get into that, how people got lighter later, but let's get back on this. This guy's going to explain the breeding farms and slavery and all that. But if you want to know if your ancestors were enslaved, just go on Ancestry.com and research your family's lineage by pulling up census records. Now, if you go back far enough, you will find some census records that either say that your ancestors were slaves or, servants. Or you probably won't even find that on there. You'll find out that your family probably owned land and were renting out rooms, in their homes, like I found out that my family were doing, okay? And I have census records that go all the way back to the 1700s. None of them say my ancestors were slaves. Hell. So, yeah. You can easily pull it up with your census records. It's no guess. They give us this one-size-fit-all history in school. All of us really wasn't slaves. The so-called Africans they brought here as servants were the blackamoors. But other than that, the indigenous people that were here were dark-skinned, looked like Africans or whatever. They were not all enslaved, okay? Now, yes, a few were rounded up by the blackamoors that they brought here, but everybody wasn't enslaved. Okay? Every tribe did not get enslaved. Some tribes they had treaties with, and yeah. But let's get back on this.
By the name of George L.W. Bickley. Don't believe a word I say. Google this. George L.W. Bickley in Cincinnati, Ohio, decided that he was going to create an organization. And the people that were part of the organization were called the Knights of the Golden Circle. And what they decided to do was, from the Mason-Dixon line, they were going to go down into Mexico.
I'm here all day.
They were going to go to Nicaragua. They were going to go to Cuba. They were going to make Havana, Cuba, the capital of the Golden Circle, where they were going to enslave Africans, keep enslavement going, and cut themselves off from the North.
I stopped so we can get over 1,000 people.
And the North said, you can't do that.
Sharing. More people could come in.
And the South said, yes, we can. And not only that, I'm tired of talking to you. We're going to do it. And that is why the Civil War happened. They weren't freeing African people. They were preserving capitalism, and the Union is evidence. And they were going to create a new States, but it was going to include the southern part of the United States, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. And Havana, Cuba was going to become its capital. But listen to this. Check out the movie National Treasure, Book of Secrets. They'll tell you about it. It's of course fiction, but it still tells you about the Golden Knights. If you're into comic books, get Atomic Robo. Edition number 28, it deals with the Golden Knights. They were involved in the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. They were directly involved with the assassinations. Reparations is what we are going to get for all the work that our ancestors did. And when we get that reparations, we're going to do it in the name of our children who are yet to be born, because they are the best. And they come from the best. And only the best of the best could have survived. You are the best of the best. Our children are the best of the best of the best. And we're going to get that reparations. And if not
with all these drugs in them. And all that graphene oxide from all the injections that they were... Oh my goodness. We've been letting the enemy educate our children for over 100 years, and they believe a false history about themselves. And then the black women refuse to go back to being traditional. Yeah. Now, this reparations march, I do not agree with whatsoever. Even in Tyreek Nasheed's, what is it? I think it, which movie was it? It was Hidden Colors 2. He even said marching was pretty much stupid. We did this in the 60s and got nothing out of it, but lo and behold, look at what they're doing today. They're rallying and they're marching in DC for reparations. Something we should have did in the 60s when we were marching for civil rights. The CIA came into our movement and made it to what it was, and made it to this notion that we wanted to integrate. But integration was not what we needed, honestly. Integration ruined us. And how would reparations work now, since we got all these mulattoes out here created by black men? Are y'all gonna agree that mitochondrial DNA is a factor in here? So only children that descend from actual black women who have the mitochondrial DNA of a descendant of a slave or descendants of, you know, indigenous Americans, are those only gonna, because black men, your children do not have your mitochondrial DNA. They do not have your DNA memory. The melanin that's on their skin, it comes from their mother, actually, because the mother passed their skin down. So the pigmentation, even though the pigmentation is a little darker, that's still her skin, okay? Everything that child got comes from the mother. Mitochondrial DNA matters, baby, okay? We pass down the DNA memory, okay? Black women are the only ones who can create black children. That's the only, and even indigenous tribes in America operated like this. Research the Creek Indians, how they operated. They only accepted children that came from their women. That's how all indigenous tribes actually work now. Okay, that's how all indigenous tribes do. See, the white woman, when the white woman would procreate with the indigenous back then, she would be outcasted by, you know, the pilgrims or whatever. So the indigenous would probably adopt the white woman in if that was the situation going on and she couldn't go back to her village. But only through the adoption, us adopting the white woman in, her child would have got the benefits of being an indigenous Creek, Cherokee, Choctaw Indian, okay? Or I don't like saying the term Indian, I'm sorry. Native, okay? That's the only way white women could get their children to have the status of an indigenous native, is if they were adopted in, okay? This one-drop rule shit is not backed on science, okay? You can't, one-drop rule, dude, a lot of y'all don't even have black blood. To be honest, y'all have the blood from your mother. You have your mother's DNA, okay? You probably have features from your dad because, hello, DNA works like that, okay? So the DNA that is alien would appear more in, the child's appearance, okay? But deep down inside, that child is their mother. Their mother's baby, your mother's baby, father's baby. You get that notion, okay? The child is gonna be more like the mother because the mother took 9 months to create this child inside of her. What y'all really think that your sperm was just doing everything inside of her, just your little information? That's all that child is like, come on, y'all keep erasing the importance of the woman. Okay, and that is the main way how these foreigners are destroying us, because the black man don't know the importance of his woman, and then, okay, but let's keep this going.
Now then when, and if not us, then who? It's going to be now, and it's going to be us, and this is a continuation. So as I leave the stage, I pay homage to our sister, Mother Moore, who years ago talked about reparations in Harlem. I pay homage to INCOBRA, the organization formed in 1989 to fight for reparations. No more games. It's time, family. Reparations now. Can I hear you say that?
Reparations.
Reparations when?
Now.
Who?
This is really sad. This is really sad. This is really sad.
Now.
Now. Hotep.
Hotep.
Stand up for Dr. Kaba.
You guys having a good time? Y'all good in the back? Coming to the stage now, ladies and gentlemen.
Dane Calloway has a video exposing this guy. He was an actor, like literally 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. He did like this E-News skit or whatever on how to be a player, whatever. But this guy is an actor, dude. Like, he's an agent. Like, why can't y'all get this through y'all skull? Like, dude. Yeah, he says stuff about foundational Black Americans. He don't really, you know, he's not backing, you know, the foreign Africans that are coming here, fucking up the place. But still, at the same time, he still support the fake history that we're given from the Jesuits. I mean, come on. Like, the Jesuits gave us this history saying that we were stolen from Africa. Like, when in reality, there were already indigenous people here who were dark-skinned, who had afros. Of course, the curly afros, like, we were here. We always been here. Just like the indigenous Australians say that they always been on their land, we always been here in America. We always been here. Nobody stole us from anywhere. Our Creator created us here on this land. And we've been here probably longer than the Africans, honestly. But that's a whole nother video for another day. Okay, but now I don't understand this right now. They really believe that Biden's gonna give them something outside of a plane ticket to Africa? Because, you know, America will fund people to go back to Africa. They will do it. They have done it. They have done it before, and they will do it again. They funded our people to go to Africa back in the 1800s. Y'all don't know about the creation of Liberia? Y'all don't know about Liberia? The history of Liberia? I mean, that was the first go to Africa movement. Okay? Created by agents who, you know, Hebrew Israelite agents and fucking Moorish temple agents. Okay? Like, what's his name? Forgot his name. That big old guy that looked like an ape. He was a controlled opposition to what's his name? W.E.B. Du Bois. Kind of forgot his name, but he wanted to trade with Africans and all that. But they were both controlled opposition agents, just to confuse more indigenous people, you know, to believe that they were African. And yeah, see, Africa, the whole African thing about us being out of Africa and all that, that is the Boulets stick. Like, they are behind the whole out of Africa thing. It's all about Africa with the Boule. The Boule supports Africa before they support black people in America. Like Oprah Winfrey, for example, she opened a whole school in Africa for African girls and all that. Akon built a whole city in Africa for Africans and all that. Like, I don't understand. Like, Steve Coakley, his little video exposing the Boule, he didn't do much exposing, because at the end of the day, they do support Africa. They love Africans. Celebrities love Africa. So Jay-Z and Beyonce is always pouring money into Africa. Okay, more money than they're pouring into their old neighborhoods. They pour so much money into Africa. Like, all the celebrities. I can give you a whole list of black celebrities that support Africa and have been supporting Africa since they blew up. Like, but y'all will stay blind and believe that, oh, it's the coons are the ones that, you know, hate Africa. No, the Boule, who y'all call the coons, they support Africa, believe that they are African, and oh God, behind. Thing is stupid. My mic is messing up. They are behind the whole quote unquote back to Africa, go to Africa movement. Okay, that it's always been the Boule. Okay, and their agents. Okay, like, they push this fake history, and they push, like, come on. The Beehive, Beyonce, everybody believe Beyonce is the reincarnation of Oshun. Like, they use African spirituality as a cover for what they're really doing. It's really dark, demonic magic where they're freaking drinking the blood of children, raping children, more than likely. They're into all of that. And no, this is no conspiracy. Please look up spirit cooking. I can pull that up for y'all right now. Spirit cooking. Hold on. Having spirit cooking. Now this is someone who Jay-Z hang out with all the time. Marina Abramovich. Okay. Spirit cooking lady. They do this ritual every fucking year. Every year they have so-called marls and then cakes and stuff like that. That is shaped into the human body, and they have blood everywhere, pig's blood, or just icing that looks like blood, or whatever. They claim it's They claim these are just fake. Let me go back. What? Yeah. So they make a cake, and they cut into this cake, and like fake blood comes out, and they eat body parts of humans, okay, at these little spirit cooking rituals, okay. Now here is Beyonce's hubby wubby all up on Marina Abramovich, okay. And no, this is not Becky with the long hair. All of Beyonce's music is written by a Jesuit, okay? She don't write her music, okay? So y'all need to stop, okay? That chick is not talented whatsoever. She just screams in the mic. You know. She screams. Come on, I hate this freaking going. Okay, my mic keeps going in and out. But yes, Beyonce is wicked. And I don't even think Beyonce is even with us anymore. Like, honestly, it's not. That person we see on the screen is probably a freaking Robotoid. But, you know, most of these celebrities don't even have a mind of their own. They do what their agents tell them to do. Just like freaking Kanye West. Just like freaking Young Thug. Just like all of these black celebrities do not have a mind of their own. Like, none of them. This guy is just wicked as can be. Okay? Like, come on, man. Come on.
One of my good partners, financial expert, the creator of Your Black World News. You already know. Ladies and gentlemen, give a nice warm round of applause to our good brother, Dr. Boyce Watkins. Wow. I'm taking this in. What's up, everybody?
Yo, yo.
B1? 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 Right on. Okay. Let's start with the obvious. Has anybody noticed how many black men are now on the apology tour? Apologizing for tweeting, apologizing for who their friends are. Poor Kyrie Irving, you got some others apologizing. It's kind of sad, right? I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of sick of it. You should be apologizing to people who should be apologizing to you. Not at all. Now, I was thinking about this. I had some interesting comments.
They really got Boyce Twatkins up here. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Okay.
conversations when we had the All Black National Convention. On Friday night, I got a call from a brother named Kanye West, and we talked for a while, and I was kind of dissecting what's happening to him. We were sort of breaking down, and I think he was listening. I was explaining, look, this is what you're dealing with. This is not a matter of right or wrong. When you talk about something like reparations, this ain't a matter of right or wrong. In fact, everybody raise your hand if you know that we deserve reparations.
Easy. Easy.
Like this is not, this ain't calculus. It's not something we have to prove. Dr. Claude Anderson wrote a book called Black Labor, White Wealth that explains why we deserve reparations. So when Ye and I were talking, because his name is Ye now or something, the rappers, they changed their names and stuff. I said, this ain't about like whether you're right or wrong. This ain't about whether those people should be doing what they're doing. And when you play the game of power, right and wrong goes out the window. True or false goes out the window. The whole pandemic, we had people telling us what was true, but we had other people who said that's false. And they were muted. Because you're playing a game of power. So at the end of the day, just to finish the part about Ye, celebrities are not important, but I want to make this point. I said basically what they're doing is they have put an economic embargo on you. They have declared economic warfare against you. They're doing to you pretty much what they tried to do to every black man, woman, and child for the last 400 years. So the same way Kanye or Kyrie or whoever the celebrity is can't do what they want to do because of the economic consequences, a lot of us feel the same thing because we get up and we go to work every day working for people who don't like us very much. This is a common thing. So let's get back to that word power. Power is defined in the book Powernomics as the ability to pursue your agenda despite the opposition of others. Power is not the ability to do what you want if white people will allow it. Power is not the ability to do what you want if everybody helps you. Power doesn't mean that you have allies that are going to get you there. Power is the ability to pursue your agenda despite the opposition of others. So we are going to run into other groups that are going to attempt to use their power to mute the truth and keep you from getting what you want. I know they're going to resist you. I know they're going to fight you. He said, yeah, there's been a lot of pushback. I said, absolutely. That's because you're doing something effective. The only black people who get no resistance are the ones who have submitted to the system. Weak-ass men don't get resistance. The punks don't get resistance. Most of your celebrities are punks. That's a fact.
Dang.
So the power in the community is not on TV. It's not in your favorite rapper. It's not with your favorite actor. The power is right here in this space. This is where black power lives. This is where the work is gonna get done. So out of tribute to a man I love like a father by the name of Dr. Claude Anderson. He lives not far from here. And just to tell you how effective he is, he's lived down the street from Howard University for decades. They've never had him come speak. They've had a long list of anti-black people speak, a whole lot of weak Negroes from Hollywood speak, but for some reason, the greatest economic thinker of our generation, he just slips off the radar. That tells you what you're up against. That's telling you what you have to fight. So let me give you something that will help you in this battle I'm going to give you 3 core values that I believe in. This is not a solution that's going to come from the politicians. It's not a solution that's going to come from the celebrities. It's a solution that comes from us in our families. Black people have to do 3 things. We must educate our own children because the public school is killing them at an early age. Our public schools are nothing but prisons on training wheels, and they're training our kids to become little white supremacists. Second thing we must do after we educate our own children, we must create our own jobs. A lot of our people cannot be free because you cannot expect to fight a power and beg them for resources at the same time. The man who feeds my family, I can't look at him and say, I'm the man of this house. He's the man of the house. So we create our own jobs so we don't send our kids across town begging for a job from people who hate them. The third thing we must do is we must support black businesses by any means necessary. Black people, you are not poor. You are not broke. Black people have 1.6 trillion in spending power. That exceeds the gross domestic product of Russia, Mexico, Saudi Arabia. We're tied with Canada. How in the hell can you have a spending amount that matches the GDP of Canada and call yourselves poor? So you don't have a lack of resources. You have a lack of planning, a lack of mindset, a lack of focus. Everything that we need, we've already got. So as we move forward with this reparations fight, and we should move forward with intentionality. I am not here to tell you what to do, but whenever a politician calls me, I tell them if you can't support reparations, then I cannot support you. No reparations, no vote. 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 Thank you. Thank you all very much. That's all I gotta say. God bless you.
We spend our money. A lot of us spend our money on dumb shit. That's what he's saying.
All right, give it up for Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Spending with a purpose is what he's saying. Spending with a purpose. Doing everything with a purpose.
Are we still good,
That
guys?
purpose is the code.
We good on this side? We good over here?
Yeah.
All right, now coming to the stage, we have one of our DMV sisters. She was in a couple of my movies. She's in the new movie that we have coming out called American Maroon, coming out in a couple of months.
He was speaking straight facts. He was not
Ladies
lying
and
at
gentlemen,
all.
give it up
Everybody
for
here is making structure.
Dr. Mayad. Give it up for Dr. Mayad.
There's too many of you crying. All right, Black Power.
Black power.
Black Power.
Black power.
Black Power. FBA, make some noise. Giving all praises to the Creator and the ancestors, for we are our ancestors and we stand on their shoulders. Ashe. Love and honor and gratitude to Brother Tyreek Nasheed. Let's give it up for Brother Tyreek Nasheed. And all of the grassroots organizations for raising awareness around the issue of reparations for foundational Black Americans and for mobilizing our people to demand what is rightfully ours. But before I give my spill, I gotta address the elephant in the room. FBA is not a hate group. FBA is a lineage. FBA is a lineage that we are proud of and that we will protect and advocate for. So to my brothers and sisters on the continent and throughout the diaspora, FBA is no different from you recognizing your Yoruba lineage, or your Ashanti lineage, or your Akan lineage, or your Bamaliki lineage. And so if you truly are our brothers and sisters, then you will support us and align yourselves with us instead of aligning yourself with the dominant society when you come over here.
But that's the thing. A lot of them know they're not us. Okay? They're given verbal history from that's passed from generation to generation. They know their history. A lot of them are not told that, oh, your cousin them, they were stolen 100, 200 years ago and went missing. We don't know what happened. We don't know the ins and out. But so many of us were abducted by these strange people and took into ships. Like, no, they're given this so-called history when they travel abroad and, you know, go to these universities, in Europe or in America. That's when they learn this history. And you can ask any African. They are not taught this in Africa. They are taught this history of, transatlantic slave trade when they travel abroad to, I don't know, somewhere in Europe or somewhere in America. Okay? So, I mean, y'all can get mad at me for saying this, but this is the truth. You go ask an African. Go ask an African. Did they grow up? Did your mother or your grandmother or your great grandmother, did they tell you that your cousin them or someone in someone in your family, were they stolen? Did you grow up with this story about Americans or foreigners coming, white pale skins coming and just snatching up Africans, or African kings having deals and African queens having deals, or some kind of whatever with trading with the Europeans trading humans. Like, if this was happening, this is something that would have been told verbally, down the line. It's not like they were stripped of their language like we were. Okay, the reason why everything is confusing over here because we were so-called stripped of our language, our culture. That didn't happen with most of them over there. Okay, and a lot of them, their grandparents live up to like 100 and damn near 20, and they tell them their verbal history. I mean, they live so long because without the influence of the foreigners eating their the crap that we eat over here, some of them live longer than us. Like, if we got to stop eating the processed crap and we could live way longer and then what we're living, people believe that, oh, we're making it to 80 years old is a breakthrough in human history. No, that's for them. The people that come from Europe, those hybrids, they couldn't make it up to 50. Indigenous peoples around the world, we lived hundreds of years, which is a hidden history that they like to sweep under the rug. Our lifespan has shortened while these hybrids' lifespans have increased. But okay. I got off topic. But yeah, like what she was saying, like, these people should align with us when they get here, but they don't. They align themselves with, the pale skin, because I believe there's a history that we're not being told, like the true history. Like, they got us blinded by color. They got us believing that color, it's equivalent to race, and that all brown people are African and all, but it's not the truth. Okay, it's the farthest from the truth. Like, your skin color do not attribute to what race you are. It really don't. But that's a whole nother video for another day. Let's get back onto this reparations rally. Yeah.
Dr. Sandy Darity, in his book From Here to Equality, Reparations for Black Americans in the 21st Century, he defines reparations as a program of acknowledgement, redress, and closure for grievous injustices. So reparations isn't a handout. It is given to rectify harm. And although all other groups have received reparations for the harm done to them, when we demand reparations, The dominant society frames the demand as if we are asking for a handout from the federal government. Well, so-called whites have been given, I'm sorry, family, so-called whites have been given handouts since the human category was invented after the Bacon Rebellion in 1676.
Okay, I'm gonna
See,
do one of the
whiteness
crowd.
is an invention. There's no such thing as a white person. And after the Bacon Rebellion, this government passed a package of laws that gave psychological and material value that to those who were classified as white. And these laws gave patriarchal authority to white men. It gave power.
What she is saying is 100% facts. Like, white and black do not exist. They're not. It's not a race. White is not a race. Black is not a race. It's actually legal status. It's your legal status. And those who are under the term black do not have really any human rights. That's why we were marching for civil rights, okay? We are not seen as humans to this government system, okay? Humans have human rights, you know? And you know, black people are not seen as humans, and in legal status you're not human. The Moors break this down. So that's how people get lost in the Moorish temples and stuff like that, because they have a lot of half-truths in their movement also. And it's like, so yeah, let me get back on that.
To white men, and it disempowered people who were classified as non-whites. In Dr. Amos Wilson's book, Blueprint for Black Power, how many of you have Blueprint for Black Power? Blueprint for Black Power by Dr. Amos Wilson. That book should be in every black home. In that particular book on page, I believe it was 34 or 36, he lists all of the handouts that whites have been given from 1675 to 1975. White people have been given handouts for 300 years plus. All right, and so from 1683 to 1889, the federal government passed acts and ordinances that gave lands to whites. Specifically, the Homestead Act, which was passed in 1862, it granted settlers 160-acre tracts of federal lands without charges. Over 250 acres of public lands were transferred almost exclusively to whites in the most important land program in American history. In the book, The Hidden Cost of Being African American by Thomas Shapiro, we learned that over 1 million whites today still live off of the wealth that they incurred from the Homestead Act alone. From 1920 to 1975, our federal government, they passed the Mineral Leasing Act, which authorized the federal government to lease public land for the exploration of gas, oil, and other minerals. In 1926, they passed the Air Commerce Act, gave licenses to qualified aviators. So you wonder why we don't have black-owned airlines. The government made sure we didn't have black-owned airlines. All right, and the Federal Communication Commission, they issued the first licenses for television broadcast stations, and no grants were made to Negroes. This is Dr. Amos Wilson's language. He says Negroes until token awards in the late 1960s and 1980s. So family, you wonder why we don't have black-owned television networks, because your government designed it to be that way. And so Dr. Amos Wilson's list does not include the New Deal policies that were passed under the Roosevelt administration, right? I'm talking about the FHA loans and the VA loans, which created a white middle class. All right? And so while they were creating a white middle class, we were confined to ghettos. We were redlined and confined to ghettos. Ghettos are a government creation. And so government has been complicit in putting us at the bottom of the dominant hierarchy. So it is the government that needs to fix this problem. Ashe?
Ashe.
Man, we were enslaved. I mean, there's so many receipts, family. I mean, we could talk about enslavement, how we grew cash crops, you know, sugar, rice, cotton, and tobacco, which led to the growth and expansion of America. We fought in all of the wars. Hell, we helped white folks win their independence while we were still over here fighting for ours. We suffered numerous massacres. I know they like to shine a light on Tulsa, Oklahoma, but there were hundreds of black communities that they destroyed, which destroyed black lives, black properties, black businesses, and black wealth. All right, and so some people may say, well, Dr. Ma'at, well, what about today? Well, let's bring it up to today. They've murdered and falsely imprisoned our freedom fighters. Free Mumia. Let me hear y'all say, free Mumia and all prisoners.
Free Mumia, all political prisoners.
Free Mumia and all political prisoners. Ashe. Mass incarceration, police violence and killings, discrimination in housing and employment and credit markets, poorly resourced schools. All of these things, these laws, policies, and practices created a racial hierarchy that has placed so-called whites at the top and FBA at the bottom. We have been locked out of the American dream that they tell us it's so easy to get. Isn't that what America does? They project this image to the world. Just come to America and anybody can achieve the American dream, while they lock foundational black Americans out, and we are the people who built America. But no more, family, no more. We will no longer beg for a seat at their table. We're gonna build our own goddamn table. Just cut the check.
Cut the check.
Let me hear you say, cut the check.
Cut the check.
Cut the check.
Cut the check.
In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, we are coming to get our check, and this time it better not come back insufficient funds. It better not come back insufficient funds. And FBA, never mind the naysayers, FBA. Never mind the detractors. You just keep your eyes on the prize. You hear me?
Yes.
And we will be victorious. Ask me, how do I know? Say it louder. How do you know, Dr. Ma'at?
How do you know?
Because our ancestors said so. You remember when Dr. King said he went to the mountaintop and he saw that promised land? Our ancestors said so. So I want to hear you say, we will win.
We will win.
We will win.
We will win.
Just keep the faith, family. Keep the fight. Black power.
Black power.
Remind us of the 5 pillars of reparations. You're going to repeat after me.
Yes, we will.
Compensation.
Compensation.
Restitution.
Restitution.
Rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation.
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction.
Guarantee of non-repetition.
Guarantee of non-repetition.
Awesome. So I think we're ready to bring up our next speaker. This is an elder, an esteemed elder that we've seen all in the community. He's been putting work in for decades. Professor James Small is a scholar, activist, dynamic speaker, and organizational consultant. He's been an activist since his teenage years. His in-depth knowledge, thought-provoking, and calm delivery are influential elements to break the programming of miseducation. He studied extensively with Dr. John Henrik Clark, Dr. Joseph A.
Rally is fire, yo. This is
Dr.
Leonard
Crazy. Jeffries, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Asa Hillard,
I've never felt nothing like this.
Wilson,
This
and
is
Dr.
different.
Francis
The energy
Prince
here is
Wilson.
different. I'm telling y'all, the energy here is different.
Just to name a few, Professor James Small is found in the African American history and culture,
The energy here is different.
like Malcolm X and African traditional religions. He loves all of our people.
The energy
Oh,
here
he's
is
behind me.
crazy.
I was going to go on and on. Give it up for Baba James Small.
Woo, woo, woo. Hey, we already won. We here. It's crazy. I'm telling you. As soon as we started
FBA.
playing, we won.
Do you understand who you are?
Yes.
Then stop being afraid of anybody that try to encroach on you. Secret to life is to have no fear. It was Malcolm that told us that. Reparation isn't a question. We're going to get it because we're going to take it. But it's your method. And so it's a legal question in the world. But how many people in here ever had a job or got a business? Raise your hand. You do it to get paid, right?
Yep.
So if somebody works your ass for 400 years and don't pay you, don't they owe you? I mean, think of it now. Somebody worked you for 400 years. Don't they owe you? And don't that come with back pay?
Yeah.
Don't that come with interest? Isn't that yours? See, some people try to make us feel bad for asking, some of our own too, for reparations. This isn't a question of asking anybody for anything. We're telling somebody, you forced me to render a service you didn't pay for. In the process, you murdered nearly 50 million of my kind. You owe me. I'm not asking you for anything. Dr. Asa Hilliard said, and I want to get this one straight, because I know a lot of us have been speaking on identity. If you don't get identity straight, you don't have a case, okay? So foundation, I'm an African American. That's not a contradiction, but I'm also a foundational Black American. That's not a contradiction. You understand? If someone is from Ghana and he migrates here, he's not a foundational Black American. But I want you to hold up because I heard some stuff I didn't like. That's still your family. He just got another case. I've had cases. I've been in that precinct. I've been in that jail cell. And I know how you get a case. People have different cases. America committed a crime against people all over the world. And they got cases, but they don't have our case. We got a particular case. But I want you to be clear. I'm not giving up Africa. Now, if some of y'all want to give up the richest piece of real estate on earth, do it. But I'm not doing it, and I'm not going to advise you to do it. That's yours. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a nation here called the United States of America that we built. We didn't just build it with labor. We built it with our intellect. We built it with our science. We built it with our technology. We built it with our spirituality. And we're still doing it. And we want it back. Let me tell you a little secret. People play games on your mind and it make you think you're weak. And then when you think you're weak, you take a certain posture when it's time to fight. When you break down the ethnic groups in America, the largest ethnic group according to their tallies is the Germans. The second largest ethnic group is the,
Just listen.
let me get it
He's
right,
going
the
somewhere.
foundational Black Americans. Now I want you to understand this because I'm going to show you something. The foundational Black Americans, according to the stats done by this criminal enterprise called the government, right, is second only to the German in population size in America. But the big lie is we're the only people whose immigrant population, whether they're making mistakes or not, we'll deal with that before I'm finished, is not counted as their population. Italians is counted as Italians, no matter when they got here. Greeks are counted as Greeks, no matter when they got here. Chinese is counted as Chinese, no matter when they got here. But they don't do that for foundational Black Americans. If they did that, the African Latino, who is not even treated kindly by the white Latino, is still counted as white folks and isolated from us. If we just took the African Latino into the family, we'd be the largest ethnic group in America. I'm trying to tell you something now, how you get played out of pocket and then you're fighting out of the wrong pocket. The foundational Black American is the largest population in America. And when you talk about ethnic population wealth, you are the first or second wealthiest ethnic population in America. But if you don't get clear on your identity, you don't know how to take your riches and turn your riches into wealth. Because all the criminals that make up this government, the black ones, the white ones, and the brown ones that have not voted for our reparations, we should use the mechanism of how you get in office to get to criminal office. But we don't know how to use all the tools at our hands. The secret about voting is a tool. It's not an addiction. It's not a disease. It is a tool when you live in a capitalist society that uses electoral processes. Now, if you're going to sit back and let somebody else use that tool, you're going to lose the game. If you want to win the game, you better take control of every tool mechanism you got. But the first one is your identity. Power is the ability to define your reality, and that includes your identity, and everyone else should respect your decision on how you define yourself as foundation of Black America. So me, I'm not going to say I'm not an African American, because Africa is my race, America is a geopolitical place. But foundation of Black American is an ethnic statement. It talks about a population for the last 400 years that have been under duress in the United States of America, and we come from all over Africa, and we formed our own ethnic nation. And you have to know how to identify your ethnic nation if you're going to be able to fight for them. Yes, my brother from Nigeria, he got a case against Britain, and he's probably got a case against America, but not the same case we got. All right? Now, I'm not going to argue with him. That's my brother. I'm going to fight for my case and ask for his assistance, and then when he fights for his case, I'm going to give him my assistance. Because this war is a race war, and it has been a race war for the last 3,000 years. The last 3,000 years, you have been in a race war. This population, the foundation of Black America, for 400 years, we have taken on the mightiest white empire ever built on earth. And we have defeated them multiple times at the game. You understand? So when we tell them we're coming to the table to get our reparations, we're coming to the table not to ask him for our reparations. We are going to define methodologies for taking our reparations. Because it isn't just a conversation. It isn't just us being here talking today. Every one of you have to engage with Foundational Black American and organizing the mechanism necessary to take our reparations. And understand, reparations is a pretty name about for the money they owe us, okay? We can throw that word out. We're gonna take the money they owe us. Back in the 60s, we called it reclamation. We robbed a bank here and a store here and a few things. And some of us did get away. Some went to jail, some of us did get away. We call it reclamation.
Yeah,
So
it's the elder, y'all. Man, he's going to teach what he's going to give that energy. He's going to teach.
We have to be clear.
You gotta listen.
Don't be ashamed of your identity. You're a foundational Black American, and you're also African. Africa is not a place. That is our ancestral, historical, spiritual center. When we came before Columbus, we came from Africa.
Please remember that the foreigners gave y'all this history, okay? It's the foreigners, the Jesuits who created public school. John D. Rockefeller created this public school system that, you know, most of us go to, that we learn this out of Africa history. Please keep in mind that this history was created by foreign people and given to us, okay? We were indigenous people stripped of our language and history, culture, and given a history and a culture from foreigners, okay? Now, Africans, most native Africans, they don't have this same story. Their original language was not stripped from them, okay? So, the verbal history that they're given from their ancestors, you know, they're given their ancestral history, but the history that they're given is not what we're given. Okay, they come to America or they go to Europe and then they're given the history of transatlantic slave trade. Y'all need to ask why Africans are not given or taught this history, that their ancestors were stolen from Africa, by their ancestors, by their grandma or mama, or why do not tell them this? Why do they have to come to America or go to Europe to be told that some Africans were stole from Africa and sent to America to be slaves? Like, come on. A lot of West Africans are not taught this by their grandmother or grandparents, or great grandparents. It's not passed down. This is not history that's passed down verbally. Y'all don't question that though. Why are we going there teaching them their history? Can someone answer that? I mean, this right here, this question alone, should turn that light bulb on, in your mind. That's strange. Yeah, come on. They're supposed to be ancient people, so-called, okay? They verbally pass their history down from generation to generation. But some kind of way in, West African history, they don't, I guess they forgot that, that some of their aunts, cousins, or, were stolen less than 200 years ago. I mean, what? Slavery supposedly ended, what? For some, 200, 300 years ago. For some, it didn't end till 1960 or whatever. But I think they stopped stealing, so-called bringing Africans abroad, less than 300 years ago. But someone please explain, the verbal history thing. I mean, they did not get their language was not stripped from them. Their cultures was not stripped from them. So I don't, and, they still pass verbal history down, okay? They learn their languages. So, yeah. Y'all don't find it strange that they have to leave the African continent or, to learn about the so-called transatlantic slave trade? These are West Africans, the people they try to link us to, okay? I actually used to talk to an African, date, and ask them their history. Did their grandmother tell them that, some people were stolen from the coast of Ghana or Sierra Leone and all that? And they was like, no. So, how can y'all believe this history if Africans are not even telling their, grandchildren that this happened, or great-grandchildren, this is not verbal history that's passed down over there. But this is something they're taught in universities when they leave Africa. Or this is something they're taught when a foreigner, us, go to Africa. We teach them this. And you can find a video of 19 Keys even saying this in the beginning of his fucking video with Tyreek Nasheed, actually. None of y'all be why do the African have to be educated on them being enslaved and brought to Africa? Huh?
When we came with the Mali Empire, we came from Africa. When we came on the slave ship, we came from Africa. Then all of us married together. I'm Native American, Chicora tribe, and African. I came on the ships with the Malians before Columbus, and I'm still African. And I'm here talking to you.
No, baby. None of us are African. African do not mean indigenous, okay? African do not mean Aboriginal, okay? Aboriginal Australians do not claim Africa. They have their own creation story. They know that the Creator created them on their land, and they've been on that land since creation, since time immemorial. Now, why can't we get this understanding that, hello, we always been here, and the out of Africa migration is not fact, okay? Out of Africa has been debunked, and YouTube censors a lot of videos debunking it. You can go to BitChute and find thousands of videos on how out of Africa has been debunked. They found more bones. Like, come on. This in 2012, it was announced that they found older bones in Europe and in South America. So in South America, they found bones of a melanated being. Okay, that is older than freaking Lucy. Okay, and then that changed their thesis to people probably migrating from starting here and migrating out, from here. But I don't believe in the migration thing. I believe our Creator created us and planted us on our respectable different continents. Okay, and humans all were created with brown skin at one point in time, and something happened. I believe gene splicing happened, and we created hybrids on this plane of existence. Okay, so yeah, but nobody want to talk about gene splicing. They want to say we evolved from animals because yes, they found animal DNA in some humans, but all humans do not have some of this animal DNA they found. Okay, it's just a few sprinkled in Africa and a few sprinkled in Asia and parts of Europe that have this what is it? I'm trying to think. Have this animal DNA. It's dog DNA in freaking humans. It's reptile DNA in humans. Bird DNA, bear DNA. The list go on, but that's a whole nother video for another day. I really wish people would look more into gene splicing, that theory, instead of evolution, okay? Which was created by another freaking Jesuit, okay? Like, come on. Like, every theory we follow was created by a pale-skinned Jesuit, even the out of Africa theory. And we just cannot let that shit go. Out of Africa says that you evolved from a primate, or Lucy. Lucy is a primate. Have you ever looked up the picture of Lucy and what they say this thing looked like the animated it's like an animated hold on, I'm having brain farts right now. But they have like a CGI composite of what Lucy might have looked like, and it is a primate. Like they found, and they tell you it's primate bones they found in Ethiopia, million-year primate bones, and y'all are proud to connect yourself to that. Like, come on, people. Come on, people. Like, why are you so proud to connect yourself to a primate? And then because they say that this is the first black woman. And we are the first, they just, y'all want to hold on to that. Okay. Nevertheless, I do believe brown people were here before, these pale skins. I believe the pale skins are alien to this world because the sun says it. But, dude, like, that don't mean like life sprung and just started there. Life was always everywhere and we were always here. Okay. Since time immemorial, since creation, okay? White people are not responsible for us being here, okay? Let that shit go. But I do agree that we need to be compensated for all the things that we have done. But I believe that we mainly need our own sovereign land, okay? They need to give us we need half this damn country. Give us the west coast, California, all that. I want that part of America, I guess. You know, we could split in half and let black people have this side and these foreigners have the other side or something like that. But yeah, we need our land back. We need to be compensated. Blah, blah. I can't talk right now. Compensated. Blah. Compensated. We need to be compensated like land. You know, if they give us money, you know, the Federal Reserve, you know, they'll crash the dollar once if they give us any kind of money. You know, we need to be asking for our land. Okay, indigenous people, we need to demand that we get our land back. Okay, that's enough reparations for me, y'all. I know the value of land, and I know what all I can do with land. Okay, that's enough for me right there. But you know, the dollar ain't worth shit. It's not backed by gold, and plus they can crash that shit at any moment. So, yeah. And I have a GoFundMe right now to you know, try to build money up so we can buy some land so I can create a sovereign city. You know, I need just a few acres and we can have a sovereign city, a safe haven for indigenous Americans that do not want anything to do with American society, you know, getting injections, you know, gene therapy injections and all that, and eating processed bullshit, you know. We need our own land to separate from this upside down world that we live in right now, okay? I believe that. But yeah, let me get back on this.
I'm from South Carolina, the Gullah-Geechee culture, Socorro Nation. Right? I'm straight up foundation of Black America because I got all the elements. But I'm not going to give nobody Africa. But guess what?
Actually, I'm gonna skip past this this agent right here, this Boule agent. We're gonna go up. We're gonna go all the way up here. See what's going on now, live. Hold on.
Okay, no, I just want to see it.
Yeah,
So, wait a minute.
yeah. Go on.
Instagram or?
No, go on YouTube or Twitter, either one.
Oh, okay, well, let's get to Twitter.
Yeah.
I gotta save my charge here.
Oh, you fine. Yeah, my phone about to die too.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Yeah, that'll help me out. You got me?
Real Holly 88. Yep.
Okay, so you got it following you, right?
Go ahead.
Oh.
There you go.
Okay, all right.
All right, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
you. So I guess all the speeches are over right now, or they're doing like a little break. Okay, I don't know who this lady is. Is that a man? That is a man. Hold on. Who is this dude? I want to go back to when he starts speaking. I mean, this is being streamed live, but
let me read these statistics to you. Between 1910 to 1997, we have had stolen 16.
He sounds like a little sweet boy too. Like he like getting duped. Now let's see.
To 19 million acres. We are now left down to 10% and dwindling. Okay? 19% of Black families have a negative net worth. That's 3.5 million Black families that are so impoverished that even if you were to give them money, it will not bring them out of poverty. It would just be to try to get them out the hole. An additional 4.5 million Black families have less than $10,000 a year in disposable income. Okay? Right now, as we speak, COVID-19 came along and wiped out 50% of Black businesses. But before COVID-19, we were slated as a community to head to zero wealth. COVID has come along and accelerated that. So, when you look at this data, I ask, where are our allies? I mean, I'm sure some of them are here, but where are they? And then I ask, where are our leaders? I don't know where they are, but I know where they should be, and they should be right here with us. Exactly. Now, and then you look at these politicians with their six-figure salaries. Now, the Republicans, okay, they suck. I don't know who's responsible for them keeping their job, but I know who's responsible for the Democrats, and I call them Democrats because they feed off of us while doing nothing for us. That's right. Guess who's responsible for them keeping their jobs? We are. We are. For the past 60 years, the Democrats have existed off of the black vote. They will not exist without us. And yet we are heading to the point of economic and political extinction because of them. Now, when these issues are brought up, they come to us with excuses. When we say reparations is owed to descendants of American slaves, the people whose
Well, I guess that's the end of the stream right now. Let's see if we can find somebody else streaming out there real quickly. They're probably not doing any more speeches right now. So, yeah, I'm going to hop back on here. But, I don't agree with marching anymore. Marching really got us nowhere. Okay? I do agree that we need to be compensated something for all that we have been, all that we have done. And I do believe that the indigenous, we need our land back, okay? Now how we go about doing it, I don't know. We could do it. I think they really want us to do it in violence, but we can come out and tell us we know this. We know that we are indigenous. We know that our ancestors were tricked, lied into, and tricked into signing these contracts which allowed these foreigners to invade. So as indigenous Americans, we are demanding you to give us our land back, or at least part of the country. Because this land is ours, and I guess go about it that way. I don't know, but it needs to be known that we know that we are indigenous. Most of us know that we are indigenous. Okay. This was a black planet. Okay, out of Africa. It's a theory, okay, people? Out of Africa is a theory. The main thing is that this was a black planet. Anyway, our creator created us all brown, okay? Humans were all brown at one point. There were brown Europeans. There were brown, dark Indians, dark Asians. You can find evidence of this if you go back and just do some research. You can type in, okay, images of Chinese 1800s, 1700 paintings, 1600s. You'll find the farther you go back, the darker the people are. Okay. Now, the only proof they have of out of Africa are the bones of Lucy, which is a primate. You got to throw that shit away. Okay. See, they do that to make it seem like they are not the aliens, but in reality, they are the aliens. They are the creation of the creation. Either we created them through gene splicing, or something else created them through gene splicing, but they are alien to this earth. The sun says it. Okay, so they're trying to make it seem like they're the natural ones and we are not. Some niggas really do run around here talking about they are aliens. So if you're an alien, this world don't belong to you. None of this, you don't belong to any land. This is not. How can y'all say that y'all are aliens? Black man, black woman, melanin. Everything on this planet have a form of melanin, even plants. So, yeah, pigmentation, melanin, skin. The sun do not burn us. It do not cause us to have cancer. So obviously that means that we are the natural beings. Okay, and they are the unnatural beings. And they're making it seem like we are the unnatural beings in their history and their sciences and in their okay, so we can try to go to Congress with the information we know now that we are indigenous and this is our land, and see what they will do with that. Okay, demand that we have our own sovereign city, sovereign state, country, whatever. We want half the fucking country, or tell them to go back to where they come from or whatever. I don't know how it's gonna be done, but it needs to be done, because I want to live naturally off the land. Honestly, I want to live like the Amish. Okay, that's why I got my GoFundMe set up right now, because I honestly do want to buy up, if anything, I guess, if on a small scale, buy land and create my own sovereign city. You can register the land that you buy, the couple acres, and register it as a city or sovereign city. You can do that, or we all stand up and go to Congress and tell them who we are. Okay, and throw away their whole stolen African stuff, because if you say that you were taken from there, then this land, you don't deserve any piece of this land. Really, you deserve a plane ticket back to Africa. If you believe you're African, you will get a plane ticket, a boat ride to Africa like they did in the 1800s. This government is happy to send your ass to Africa. Okay, they did it before, they will do it again. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna come back on here later and stream this, but that's how I feel about this reparations rally. We shouldn't be begging for money. We should be telling them we want our land. Okay, we know the truth. Okay, and that's why I don't really stand behind Tyreek Nasheed like that, because he holds on to that out of Africa crap and that transatlantic slave trade crap. The ships they had in the 1500s wasn't even capable of breaking free from the ocean currents to go just make the short trip straight across to America, to Africa, and back from Africa to America. We see how they have it on their maps that Africa and South America are like straight across. Okay, like a child telling a child about transatlantic, they'll just automatically assume that ships were just going straight across, but that's not how shit worked. Ocean current had motherfuckers leaving the coast of freaking what is it? The Carolina coast. Leaving the Carolina coast, the current will send you up towards Europe. Okay, leaving that coast, it'll take you up towards Europe. Then they'll have to break from that current to go back down towards Africa. Okay, and then there's like a current within that current that will send you out to the middle of the sea and get you lost. So you gotta be careful. So it took more than like 3 to 4 months to make this voyage, with a cargo of 300-400 fucking Africans at the bottom, just chained up, shitting and pissing on top of each other. You really think these people were just letting these slaves up to the deck to get sunlight and poop off the? I don't know, but like, come on, like we gotta put on our critical thinking caps. Like, these stories, they tell us Like in their public schools, we gotta question that shit. Everything they told us in their schools is a fucking lie. Like, you're not enlightened or conscious or anything until you come to that realization that you've been lied to about everything, even the history. But while observing artifacts, you will see that yes, back in time, yes, less than 200-300 years ago, there, everybody had this brown color on their skin. So brown people are indigenous to the world, and Negroid, whatever you want to call it. We are indigenous to the world. You find our paintings, you find our ancestors' bones, like, on every fucking continent. I mean, almost every continent, even in Europe. Yes, it was confirmed that the original people there were brown people. Look up Cheddar Man, okay? Now, that don't just say that, it was African migration, god damn it. Like, our creator created us on all of these lands, okay? He did not just put us on one spot and just told us to move. No, I mean, there were people everywhere, okay, that he planted, or it, he, she, whatever you want to call it, it planted us everywhere, okay? And yes, I believe that we were created by something. I don't believe in Big Bang. I don't believe in evolution. All that shit comes from the foreigners, and, I don't believe in their lies, okay? I believe, and no, I don't believe in no goddamn Bible either, okay? I believe that I'm connected to source, okay? And I believe in the theory that, we were created by something, okay? I don't believe that we're an accident. That's why I don't support injections, medical injections, y'all call, VACCINE. I don't believe in that. I don't believe using their pharmaceuticals for anything. I believe the plants can heal you, okay? Like, we need to let go of the shit that we've been taught, okay? We need to let go of the shit, okay? The history included, the sciences they teach us is bullshit. Everything, okay? You need to break free. Free your fucking mind. But I'm gonna hop back on here.